that you need, from business to economy to politics to technology. And that's all we do here on Newspunch, from the beginning to the end. And that is why we are here. Keep watching Newspunch from Ben Television. And today, like this.
Good evening, viewers. Welcome to another edition of Newspunch for today. My name is Chukwudi Wabuku, and we shall be discussing on it's a countdown to May 29 handover agenda for governance. You will recall that in February and March this year, Nigeria held general election, whereby they elected the president and governors and National Assembly members and State Assembly members. So on May 29th, which is called the Democracy Day in Nigeria, these elected officials will take over the reins of power, and those who were re-elected will continue in their office after taking the oath of office for the second time. Among them is Nigeria's incumbent president, Muhammadu Buhari. He will also come in. He will also be sworn in for second term on May 29th. And in the 36th state of the Federation of Nigeria, other governors will also be taking oath of office, and that will mark a new beginning for Nigeria. As this is anticipated, Nigerians are looking forward to a better governance, because presently, what they believe what they are getting presently, they have the people there. Most of them there have failed them. So there is everyone is anticipating that the incoming government will be, instead of inflicting them with scorpion, will be able to kind of lower the kind of the suffering in Nigeria today, because it is at a stage where most Nigerians are at the poverty level, and it has taken the world authorities to say that Nigeria is the poverty capital of the world. This is a country that is rich in oil, in other mineral resources, that is supposed to be the food basket of Africa, supposed to be the richest country in Africa on account of the oil that flows from that country, which is sold abroad and comes in dollars. But the reality of the matter is that Nigerians are not, the money, the richness of the country, the wealth of the country does not trickle down to all and sundry. Only a few, perhaps 1%, 2% of Nigerians are the ones benefiting from the resources of Nigeria, to the detriment of many, many, many others, the population of Nigeria. So we are going to, as the handover date approaches 15 days from today, we want to set the agenda for the incoming government. With me to do that today is a renowned pastor, a renowned public analyst, a renowned public speaker by name, Mr. Lawrence Oji, the coordinator of Solution to Alcohol and Drug Addiction Initiative. Mr. Oji, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much. Good evening. Good evening, viewers.
Yes. So as I said, we are talking about certain agenda for governance as the handover date approaches. You may recall that this is not the first time. This is about the fourth or fifth handover in Nigeria since 1999, when democracy was inaugurated in Nigeria, where every May 29th had been set aside as handover date. And in 2 weeks' time, Nigerians will be having new persons in place. So there are things that we need to discuss about. What would you think should form the basis of governance? What should be the agenda for the incoming or people in government who are returning to the office? What do you think should be the agenda for them?
Thank you very much. We all know that during every electioneering time, politicians come up with different promises to win people's votes. This time around, I think when we take the report card, taking it just from the last 4 years, I will say that if we have to borrow a leaf from what happened in England recently, the people voted based on what they believe had not been delivered. Most of the promises for the last 4 years, of course, were not delivered. So, since most of the people who were there have been re-elected, obviously we'll take it from there. What I would think they should have to do is to now go back to the electorate and not just delivering what they promised, but find out exactly what the people need. Because different states have different needs, different people have different needs. But the most important thing, of course, I believe, is security in Nigeria. Security is porous in Nigeria. Say what you may. In fact, I was disappointed when I heard the other time that the killers and abductors in Nigeria were not Nigerians, but people who came from Libya and Niger. It means that our borders are porous. If people could come from other countries, kidnap and kill people in Nigeria, it means that the issue of security should be taken very seriously. We need that as number one.
Okay, before you go further, you talked about that. You said that the incoming government should go to the people to ask for what they should do for them. Is that not putting the horse or the cart before the horse, or the horse before the cart? Because invariably we ought to know by now that as somebody who ran for election, before you are elected, you must have promised the people something that you must do for them. Do you see the absence of manifesto, or among the political class today, among the political parties, is there any manifesto we can say, okay, we hold PDP for this, we hold APC for this, this is what your manifesto promised Nigerians, do it. Do you think that we have what we can refer to as manifesto, which will guide conduct in office?
Yeah, thank you very much. Manifesto can be vague. For instance, I know senators who promise their people, once you vote me into power, you'll be empowered. Empowerment, can be looked at from different. I know of a senator who, to empower his people, he bought them fry pan. That is no empowerment. But on the agenda, the word empowerment had appeared. So what I'm saying is that they need to find out exactly what the people need. Ask him, he will say, I empowered them. How? By giving them fry pan. What the heck is giving them fry pan for? But what I'm telling you is real. So we will not say that he actually went back to empower the people. He must have ticked it up from the list. The people have been empowered. But how? So they need to really, someone who maybe has a skill in sewing, and you're giving him fry pan. When we know they voted you because you had promised to empower them, when you go back to them and say, now you have voted me in, what area do you need me to empower you? And this guy may say, I need a machine. And the akara fryer will say, I need a fry pan. Not when you buy 1,000 fry pans and give to the community, you say you have empowered them. You have not empowered them. You have duped them. Because most of the people don't even know that their allocation is for them. The allocation given to Senate is just that everybody cannot crowd to the National Assembly to get their share. So, because to avoid confusion, the Bible says God is not the author of confusion. So, somebody had been taken to represent them to get their share. So, but when the senators now come and become God or gods to the people, not knowing that what the crumbs they are begging for are actually the allocation made for them. So they should go back now and find out. And of course, accountability is key. We need to have people who can stand now to hold these people to account for how they spend the money. Now, in most cases, it's even the governors that are, brought to, the public domain. But what of the senators who get this money on behalf of their constituency? How are they empowering them?
Yeah, that's from what you have just said. That brings the issue of voter empowerment or empowerment of electorates. Mm-hmm. Is there any way we can consciously empower the electorate? Because from what you have said now, these people who are on the receiving end don't even know that what these people are using are giving them as handouts belong to them. But they appropriate it as theirs, and giving the people,
they are doing them a favor.
Yes, giving them handouts. Giving them peanuts from what is given to them. How do we get the people to know that what these people are giving them, they're deceiving them, but pocketing the lion's share and giving them a paltry thing? How do
it has to start with education.
Yes.
You see, let me just refer to the 1979 election we had. Most of the people did not even know that not every election was for Zik, the late Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe. For them, Zik, was the one they were voting for in every election. Governorship was Zik. House of Assembly was Zik. Whatever at all was Zik, because they did not have knowledge. They were not educated. By so doing, they even ended up voting the wrong candidates, which was why late Dr. Nwakama Okoro of the MPN, the first man who was president of the Nigerian Bar Association for 2 consecutive terms, he said after he lost to another PDP candidate, who of course did well, late Dr. Samuel Mbakwe, when Dr. Nwakama Okoro was interviewed, he said, well, in Igbo land, if you put a goat and put MPN flag, and put a professor and put a MPP flag, that there were more chances for the goat to win than for the professor of MPN to win, because people did not know who they were voting for. The first thing I believe should be done is to educate the people. A vote should be also for the enlightenment of the people, because if the people are not educated, even if elections are carried out 100 times, they will still vote in the same pattern, because they don't even know. We should get to the point where we now begin to vote for policies and not for individuals, and not for parties. People should know that when they are voting, what their rights are, what their own responsibilities are. We've seen people who have voted into National House of Assemblies, and of course, they could not contribute anything. It's quite embarrassing when some of them speak. And these are the people you expect to go and empower others. You cannot give what you don't have. It's time for us to become radical about the people we vote into positions. Anyone who within 4 years fails shouldn't come back to beg the people. Some time ago, I had someone who was going for the position of Senate. I was begging his people, say, please, I know I failed for 8 years as member of House of Representatives. I failed. Now, please, when I go in as a senator, I'll do better. Who told you would do better after failing for 8 years? But unfortunately, a lot of sentiments. People fail to call a spade a spade. People don't want to say the truth. Anyone who has failed for 4 years should not be re-elected. And of course, whatever he has stolen, he has to be. Oh, recently, how happy was I when I saw the former president of Sudan and his cabinet driven to prison, the same prison they had constructed for who they termed to be the common people. They were driven to such prison. Some time ago, again, in one European country, a politician still in office was carried by the people and thrown into a dustbin by the roadside with his portfolio. So we need to become, serious if we want a change to be in Nigeria. It appears that each year that passes, things are getting worse. Oh, how I missed my erstwhile friend, my late friend, Fela Kuti. 40 years ago or more, he sang a song, Water, Light, Food, House. And people called him a madman. Up till now, 40 years after or so, what he sang then is still happening. Where are the roads? Where is the water? Well, yet there are budgets for these things every year.
That is important thing. As you said, there are budgets for it every year. Every year you see at the national level, at the federal level, at the state level, at the local government level, there are budgets to construct roads, to build houses, to improve infrastructure. But at the end of the day, nothing is done.
Nothing.
And nobody asks questions.
Nobody asks questions.
How do we begin to hold government and governors and all those in authority accountable to the people? That is what the Constitution gave the press to do. But how do we empower the ordinary people to begin to ask questions from their elected officials? Because once they don't perform, things don't get well. How do we get them to be interested in their own affairs? How do we make it to happen?
To start with, I remember when General Obasanjo was the military head of state before he became. He said that every country is blessed with the kind of police force it deserves. We need to start from there. There need to be a pure cleansing. How much I enjoyed what the president of Ghana did recently. He went to the customs office, saw what some custom officers were doing, and there and then, Murtala style, he began to sack those who were corrupt, and he made them sit up. Not to talk of policemen. In Kenya, I was in Kenya recently, a policeman was caught, taking bribe on the road. There and then his uniform was removed. For of course, in Nigeria, I remember one time I came back and I saw people in civilian clothes with bedroom slippers carrying gun. And I asked my brother, I said, who are these people carrying gun bedroom? He said, they are policemen. Policemen? We need to, is there no budget for uniforms again? I was a police officer. I was an inspector of police. So how do you now differentiate policemen
and
criminals carrying gun on the road?
Yeah.
So we need to start from there. We cannot start from the roof to build a house. We need to start from the foundation. What is happening to the budget for the police to start with? Is there no budget for uniforms? Our policemen shouldn't be looking the way they're looking. Sometimes some of them say because they even need money to buy boots. That's why they are constrained to take money from. What is happening? And when President Buhari came into power, I was one of those who said, I've never been interested in any party. For a brief period, I was the chairman of PDP in UK, but how was this happen? I was called to reconcile the faction, and it happened, So, but what I'm saying is that anyone who is not good in a position, irrespective of his party affiliation, should be removed. I saw President Buhari when he was coming in the first time as someone who will be strict and who will do exactly what he said. But it's quite unfortunate that he came in, and I still believe that he is not a corrupt man. But what is happening, even some of the things that people complained about during Jonathan's regime, some people are seeing what's happening now. He may not be the one, but why put people who shouldn't benefit from his cleanness to work with him? You cannot sit in your white suit, sit with people who sell palm oil and expect to come out clean. It's unfortunate that whatever these ones do will still rub off on him because he's the president. When a team is winning, the coach gets the accolade. When a team is failing, it's the coach also that suffers the humiliation. So I think that now that he has come back the second time, to make sure that we get things better, all those people who have failed, especially people who are in appointed positions, not elected positions, because he appointed them, he should have the courage and the boldness to say, look, you haven't done well, you are not coming back. When I look at some countries like Angola, you look at their railway services, you look at the kind of train, you look at Kenya, and you see the budget, what was spent to build these things, and you compare to what was spent, the billion spent for Nigeria, and you see the kind of train rail services we have. I mean, you ask, are there not people who are in charge of these things? So It's all round.
Yes.
We will need to reshuffle the whole thing.
From what you said, you pointed out the fact that under some, let's say when we had Muhammad, General Ramat Mohammed,
yes,
Murtala Mohammed, we could see that at that particular point in time, as a military head of state, that was in 6 months.
Yeah.
He was able to
change a lot of things,
move Nigeria forward in the real sense of the word. At that time, for example, you mentioned somebody going to the Ghana president,
yes,
going somewhere and identifying people who are doing some corrupt things and then discharging them
on the spot.
Yes, but let us, before we come to that, we have a caller on the line.
Okay,
we can come to that later. Hello, Yinka. We have Yinka on the line.
Yes, how are you?
We are good, and you?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. You can go ahead with your contribution.
This important national issue. And I'm very proud of you bringing this gentleman to your studio today.
Thank you.
You could see the man is of two different honors. Happens to be part of PDP in the UK as a chairman and a former police officer. And this is what I've been talking about. Bring the professionals. Let them come and talk about the deficit, and let us come and talk about the issue on the ground. And I'm happy he's talking in the same direction that I have it. But let me bring an issue down here. He was asking about 3 things. And I want people to listen to him very well. He said what happens to the budget that meant for the police. And for the 16 years of PDP, we can ask the same question. What happens to the budget of the police for 16 years? This is the deficit of that 16 years. That 4 years budget for the police can never be found, or for our police officers to wear good look. Having said that, there was a kind of a postage on the social media of what happened in Edo State. That the guy that was a student came out from the bank, and he said the police officer came to him asking for his mobile phone and collected the key of his car.
Absolutely.
And I was following that report. And to the extent, because they said that those police officers didn't even wear the police uniform. And you could see the way they are wasting Nigerian citizens in Nigeria. And you know where it comes from? It comes from all the political, leaders, or those that have been in the ends of affairs of our country. You can imagine that a governor will now pick 15 police officers and 15 higher killer squad and mix them together to be his orderly. And this has been where it's generated from. It will go to maybe IPOP and pick 15, or go to Odu and what they call those one in Lagos and pick 15, or from Arewa. They are not police officers. But because they spent 4 years with him, it will cause them to be in the force. They will say, Oga, you are going now. What will you give us? And he will say, do you want to continue with this job? Let this man say, let him talk. He has a lot to tell us in the diaspora. These are the things that happen. A governor of a state will now mix his own killer squad with the police details that are given to him by the federal government. And they will be acting as a police officer. Immediately he finishes 4 years, he will now help them to recruit them into the police force. And they will post them to different areas. How do you want them to act? How do you want them to behave in the city? Because they still believe they are killer squad. They can do whatever they like. But we are seeing them as a police officer. Well, they are not police officers. They are killer squad being co-opted and being held by a governor, of a civilian governor, into the police force. Having said that, let us come clear with ourselves. You could see what is going on, that they just wanted to, some wanted to bastardize the police agency. Like they are calling for this, state police. This is the problem. So my question will now be, will you say that Nigeria is ripe for state police, or we need to retouch and rejig the police agency in Nigeria? This is my question. I'm still here, listen to your comments, and I will respond and ask my question appropriately. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Yinka. Yinka, thank you for your contribution. Before we respond to your contribution, we will just show a clip of Nigerian soldiers as they complain bitterly about the quality of food given to them. These are security agencies of Nigeria.
Put the food in now. Who come in? They feed prisoners like this. I'm better rice and oil. Put no man rice and oil. You do this thing very well. You do it.
Very rubbish.
See the soup.
We are eating.
Yeah. See the rice. See rice. This on our food.
Black rice.
Rice on our 1 month. No
rice
meat.
Or, nothing. See what they give us. Rice or rice. See amo.
More open it. More tier one so that more tier one so that
You could see the kind of what passes as food for Nigerian officers, Nigerian army officers who are sent to defend the territorial integrity of Nigeria and to fight wars and deal with Boko Haram. What do you have to say about that?
When I look at this, I now imagine, recently, I read in the papers that whoever was in charge of the prisons, was it the internal affairs, said that each prisoner in Nigeria costs 14,000 naira. Each prisoner, what they spend. So I agree that may be the budget, because when you now write out, you want to explain how you spend the money. But I have been to prisons in Nigeria because I go to visit prisoners. Each time I go, I was once a prisoner, so I can empathize with prisoners. I was once a drug addict. I can empathize with drug addicts. So when I go to prisons in Nigeria, I've been to a prison in Nigeria, and I saw somebody who will long have left the prison if he was taken to the court, but there was no petrol to take him to court in Ohafia. This person was in prison in Aruchukwu. No petrol. I had to give money for petrol, and also went to the local government to ask if they could give a budget for petrol to take people to court. Because there's no petrol to take them to court. Now, so where is the 14,000? I've used my money to buy slippers for prisoners, give them food on New Year, because when you look at what they eat, what we just saw is 1,000 times better. So where is the 14,000 per prisoner in Nigeria spent? The people need to be held accountable from head down. Otherwise, and you know the most painful thing, in this country, United Kingdom, you cannot see any politician jump from conservative to Labour. Or you see somebody from Republican to Democrat. No, here, somebody is in APC today. When PDP comes to power, he jumps over to PDP, and he's welcome. The day APC wins, he goes, this nonsense has to stop. Good. You see people who don't have integrity jumping parties just because they have to protect themselves, their business and what. It is wrong.
Yes, we'll come to that later. We'll come to even the question about that Yinka asked about state police, whether is an option. We have another caller on the line. Patrick. Hello, Patrick.
Hello.
Yes, Patrick, you're on the line.
Yeah, are you there?
Yes, where are you calling from?
I'm calling from London.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Go ahead with your question.
Most unfortunately, it pains me when I hear people criticize Nigeria police. Because Nigeria police is one of the best police in the whole world. Those guys are suffering. Nigeria police, they are suffering, just like everybody in Nigeria. You cannot remove bribery, aka supplementary wages, from any Nigerian. Even a headmaster of a local school, if you want your child to get admission, you put something on the table. Even market women, even a child, you send a child to buy pure water for you. He needs supplementary wages. We are a nation of appreciation. We appreciate each other. So why is it that when people appreciate police, they make headline out of it? These guys are suffering. Even that guy, Mr. Oji, you know that police patrol teams, nobody gives them money for petrol. They have to buy petrol from their own pocket. How do you expect them to get that money? So if you are in distress and you go to the police station, then they tell you, bring money for fuel. Then you go to run to the newspapers and start shouting Nigerian police. When you go to Nigeria, you see how people treat others. You have people that have very bad heart towards others. So when police are dealing with them, people shouldn't be running around saying Nigeria police are brutal, they are this, they are that. I like that quote you put from Obasanjo. Every country gets the police force it deserves. The criminals in the UK, when you put light in your house, they don't come in. The light drives them away. In Nigeria, you put light, put burglary proof, put a Rottweiler, put everything. They will manage to come in and ask you to make gari for them. While they eat gari and pounded yam, they rape your wife. This is criminal in Nigeria. In London, does criminal come into your house and ask you to prepare indomie? Ordinary light you put in the house, they run away. So Nigerian police are reacting to the situation we have at home. I'm not saying there are not exceptional cases. Of course, Nigeria is a big country. We've just gone past 200 million. So please, let us give courage, give love and energy to Nigeria police so that they can continue working. It's not nice whenever we are talking about them, we're always saying the bad things that is happening. Nigeria police are working. They are really working hard.
Okay, Patrick.
Those guys stand on the road in the night, stand under the sun, stand under the rain without nothing. And they are working. If you want to know how useful Nigeria police is, remove them from the road for 1 week. And we see the difference between Nigeria police and no police.
Okay,
Thank you very
Patrick,
much, Patrick.
Thank you for your contribution. Well, let me tell you one thing that why people are kind of outraged at the behavior of police most of the time is because police is supposed to be an organized entity that has a code of conduct that they have to work with. So when they deviate from this, right-thinking Nigerians have a right to question the way they behave. They are not hooligans. They are trained. Just like you said in UK police, they are also trained. They have code of conduct and they have code of ethics. And there are things they cannot do to even if it's a suspect, there are things they cannot do. Why can't Nigerian police force do that? So we have taken your contribution, and I would like to
add that there's nothing we've said here that has criticized Nigerian police force. I was only making a case for them. I said, where is the budget? Is there no budget for their uniform? That's what I'm saying, that they are in most cases constrained to do certain things, because if they are well taken care of, perhaps not as many people who do these things that kind of darken the image of Nigerian police will be doing that. So I'm even making a case for the Nigerian police force, because if they had uniforms and boots, I don't think they will be proud to come on the road with bathroom slippers and in some cases some tattered dresses. I was actually making a case for them, not criticizing them.
Yes, that's maybe you didn't get with your drift. Let us answer the question posed by Yinka.
Yes.
He said, would Nigerians prefer a state police, given the contending issues in Nigeria today? What is the reality of this in Nigeria? Is Nigeria ripe for a police, a state police?
Let me start by saying that what has given birth to the clamoring for state police is because of what people perceive that the Nigerian police is not doing well. And I ask, when I was trained as a policeman, we were trained for 12 months. During the 12 months, apart from class work and drills, we also went to do what they call range, shooting and all that. How can you now train someone for 3 months and call it crash program, and there are majority of graduates unemployed? So my question is, rather than thinking about state police, we could now enlist all these undergraduates that don't have a job, all these people who are employable but don't have a job, now train them as police officers. Let them train for 1 year. Most of the time, you let people go for national youth service, and after 1 year, they are just there doing nothing. They could be trained for 12 months. Why do we rush to train people for 3 months? When we can keep them engaged and train them well for 12 months, and we still have one Nigerian police force. The first time I saw a state police actually was on the 20th of May, 1982, when late Emeka Ojukwu came back. He came back on the 18th, and on the 20th he was in Enugu. Then was Jim Wobo was the governor. So that was the first day they said Anambra police trained at Ogu came out. You know, they didn't call them police actually, but they were police. So that was the first time. I don't think there are more problems to be taken care of right now than having state police. To have a state police is not a small thing. We are talking about the federal police that has not been well taken care of, well equipped. And you're talking of state. Let's have a well-organized, trained police force in Nigeria. And when we have a well-trained police force in Nigeria, where, of course, one thing I can say is that let the commissioner of police for every state be from that state. That is one thing, and I have my reason for that. Because if the governors of the states are from their particular states, let the commissioner of police also be from the particular states. It should be Nigerian police force, but you go to some police stations, especially in the southern states, you find only commissioner of police from other. No. Let's have one Nigerian police force, well fortified, well equipped, well trained, but with the commissioners of police from the respective states of origin. Okay. They will work more.
We have another call on the line. Is that Yinka?
Oh, that's Yinka.
Yinka?
I still want, if I will make a prayer, I want Mr. Lawrence Oji to feature most prominently on your program because he knows about prison as well. Yeah. Because when you talk about Nigerian prison, I don't know if I can work with you. We can go there and film, take permission and film it to come and show to the people here in the diaspora. I once, when I was in Nigeria working, one of a friend called me to come and bail him. That was my first time to be in the court and to follow him down to the prison. In fact, it's an eyesore. And I know for almost 20 years to this time, it must have even been degraded more than what I saw at that particular time. But I still want Mr. Oji to come and give us his experience about it. But Mr. Oji, I still want you to say the truth and nothing but the truth. When you talk about petrol to a police vehicle to respond to a distress call, every police officer stationed in every state have their own monthly allocation that have been expected to be used judiciously in order to buy fuel and to do some other things within the police stations in that state. Am I correct, sir? Am I correct, Mr. Oji?
Absolutely.
Yes. But
in the budget, yes.
Because Nigerian police officers, the one at the top, believe that you should wait for your time. Immediately that allocation goes to them, they take it away. That was why you see a lot of police officers on a roadblock where they are not being assigned for, taking 20 naira. At the same time, they will come back to report back to their senior superior and give them some money so that they can cover them up for going on the road to mount what they call barricade to collect 20 naira, 30 naira from passerby. Am I right, sir?
You are right. But
so what are we talking about Nigerian police? Let Nigerian government, including you and I, because they are working for us, we need to be able to challenge the state governor. Don't let us put everything to Baba Buhari. Baba Buhari will never be in Anambra. It will never be in Ogun State, where my state is. But you know that in a state, the governor of that state is the chief security of that state. I have seen in Ogun State, during Benga Daniels, where OPC came to keep everybody hostage from 6:30 in the morning to 12 for no reason, because of political interest. Stray bullets went flying, killing people. The governor doesn't have any say there because he knows what he or was doing. This is what we are calling for. This is 21st century. Please, those of us in the diaspora, they need our assistance in Nigeria. They need our help in Nigeria. Like with Oji, we need your technical know-how. Please come on to this program. I don't know how we can do it. Come and tell us about your experience and how we can move it forward.
Thank you very much.
Police training school is a nice store.
We don't cut you off because we are.
I really appreciate.
Thank you for your contribution, Yinka.
Thank you. Yinka, I'll leave my contacts with the program coordinator so that you can reach me so that we can.
Yes. So we have spent a lot of time on the issue of police. So now we are trying to set agenda for the incoming government of Nigeria. We have talked about security to an extent. We are talking about security at the initial stage and before I cut you off. And then how do we address the security situation in Nigeria today? How do we get the federal and the state government and the local government to restore the security sanctity of Nigeria?
Number one, the president and the governors should understand that elections have come and gone. Everything now is in the interest of the nation. The president is the chief security officer of Nigeria, while the governors are the chief security officers of their respective states. They need to work together. And it doesn't matter what party won in any state, the president should see everyone as a component of the federal power, if I will say. The governors, the state governors work with him to ensure that there is whatever plans he has for security will be achieved, so that there will be no sabotage from anywhere. And those states that have been identified through which foreigners, in quote, came into Nigeria from Libya, from Niger and all that, should be more fortified. And of course, every state that is on the border, like Cross River, like Rivers, like, all those states on the border should have more security, because it's quite embarrassing to hear that foreigners are coming when there is no war.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you so much. Another caller on the line, Peter.
Hello.
Peter on the line. Yes. Go ahead with your contribution.
Hello.
Yeah. We are hearing you.
Yeah. What I'm trying to say is that what I was watching on the television just now about this insecurity in Nigeria, and also the fact that some of the gentlemen, I didn't quite catch his name on the program, we talk about state police, or let's say in general, we talk about the state of the police in Nigeria. I don't think the behavior of the Nigerian police can be justified in any way, no matter whatever happens. They know the responsibility of being a police officer. They know the duty, what is involved of being a police officer. If they are not being paid salary, and whatever reasons they might have for this type of extortion from the general public, whom they are supposed to protect, I don't think it should be acceptable anywhere. What we should do then, if people want to do, is not ordinary citizens in Nigeria are not responsible for paying the police. The police are paid from the Nigerian money, taxpayers' money. And those people expect protection. And we are not getting it. We are trying to justify the reason why police are behaving the way they are behaving. It's not acceptable. Being a police officer, it's not like any ordinary job. You are supposed to uphold the law. No matter whatever happens. That is your number one priority, protecting life and property. So if we just keep saying the police, oh, they are justifying extorting money from, why do we have the police? Why exactly do we have them? Because there's no need for this justification at all. The police, in fact, they should be brought to book whenever they commit a crime. So I'm surprised that some people on television are justifying the behavior and the attitude of the police. Even in this country, I remember some years ago when Mrs. Thatcher came to when she became Prime Minister, she laid out, she put out a package for the police. What are we getting? What is the government? We're talking about state police, okay? What is the need of state police? There's a justification for state police anyway. You see, please let us not justify the attitude of the police.
Yeah, Peter, advocates of police, state police.
Address,
Hello?
I can send you details of what I'm talking about.
Peter, those who advocate for state police say that they want to decentralize the police in Nigeria, the power of deployment of police, because apparently it comes on the federal level. So they take orders from the president, and that's
from the IG actually.
From the presidents and IG.
And IG, yeah.
Yeah, and president IG, and that they don't doesn't always reflect the reality on the ground. So that is why governors say that they are merely called chief security officers of the states in theory, but in practice they don't have any power. And that's why they want the state police.
Yes, actually, recently in Rivers State, we saw evidence of that also when the governor Wike, also lamented that his life was being threatened. I mean, so and I say, what an irony! The chief security officer of the state is now saying that the police were after his life. But having said that, that's why I said the president needs to work in tandem with the governors. Elections have come and gone. We need one united Nigeria. And if there was such cohesion, there wouldn't be any reason why the chief security officer of the state wouldn't be able to speak to the commissioner of police and get his audience. So we are kind of divided, and a country that is divided against itself cannot stand, whether we have state police or not. If the president and the governors are not working as one family, there will still be that problem. Or you might see police from this state fighting police from the other state, and it will be chaos. So what I'm saying is that the president should know, despite his party, he is the father of the nation. And all the governors should work in unity with him so that whatever is coming from the president will also be, disseminated to all the states and the individual. But what I'm saying is, to start with, what is democracy? Government of the people, for the people, and by the people. We cannot be under a democracy and it still seems as if we're under military rule. People should be free to express themselves, like I see here and in other advanced countries. We cannot be in a country, civilian government, and afraid to express our opinions. That's what I'm seeing. So many people prefer to live the lie in order to get what they want than to say the truth and get what they want. I'd rather say the truth, get what I want, than to sell a lie to get what I want.
Okay.
That's it.
Yes. Now, another issue we have to talk about is the issue of poverty. Nigeria is so endowed, a well-endowed country, rich in all ramifications, but when you come to nitty-gritty, Nigeria is described as a poverty capital of the world. What should incoming government do to alleviate the poverty of Nigerians and to make Nigeria to bring prosperity to the people? What would they do? What should they do?
Thank you very much. Growing up, I was told or I saw Aba in Abia State as the, let me say, as the Japan of Nigeria or the Taiwan of Nigeria. But go to Aba, because why was it so? All the shoes you could import from London and Spain you had them made in Aba. And they looked exactly like, imported shoes and bags. But today, go to Aba, you will cry. There are no roads in Aba. So I remember when Udoji arrears was paid, prices of things also skyrocketed. Now, even if you make minimum wage 30,000, those who are not working tend to be even more than those who are working. We need to create employment opportunities. Most of the people who have siphoned money outside the country through their positions should have been wise enough to have, factories, companies in Nigeria where these people can work. Recently, some armed robbers were arrested. They were all graduates. And one of them said, well, he could not just look at his aged mother dying of sickness and he didn't have any money to. I'm not saying that justifies it, but when they don't have what to do, you find people who you open their house, you see billions. Why don't you build a factory and let people work there? It could be tissue paper factory. It could be pure water factory. So we're talking of empowering people. You don't empower people with mouth. There should be something for them to do. Every state governor should also aim at having a factory. When we do, you could now look at what is this state good in producing. A state, for instance, in a river state that can, I know I have friends from rivers, maybe hot drinks and fish. You should, if you come to Europe, you see Nigerians come to Europe and America to import these distilled drinks. Mm-hmm. Why can't we have a modern factory that will encourage such production? Most of the graduates were trained from money by their parents from all these things. Encourage the governor. What stops them from having a modern factory for the distilling hot drinks? Because that is what that land is noted for, and people will work there. That is how you alleviate poverty. You don't alleviate poverty by giving people money, 20,000, 30,000. When the money finishes, what happens? So rather than giving them fish, teach them how to fish. We need tertiary institutions where people who have skills can go and learn things. Thank God that there are some rehabs in Nigeria I've been to, to minister, where you see such rehabs run by some churches, have some things like Kadam, for instance, Christ Against Drug Abuse Ministry in Ekpe, where by the time people come out from there, they have already learned how to do one or two things that can sustain them after they have been detoxed. You have also House of Joy in Lagos, another rehab. So the state governments, the federal government for that matter, we need such places where people can go and work. It makes me angry when I see houses in America, in Dubai, in England, by one senator, by one governor. Okay. And we are talking, and we know these facts are true.
Thank you so much.
Who will say it?
Nobody can say that. We want to thank you. Thank you. Thank you for today. Viewers, we have come to the end of this program today, and I want to thank you for being with us. Watch out for us next week as we come again with another exciting edition of this program. I want to ask you to say your final greeting.
There is still hope for us.
Yes.
I've always advocated for one Nigeria. If a country like India can be one, China can be one, America can be one, nothing stops us from remaining one Nigeria. So please, viewers, there is hope. Let us not divide, but let us tell each other the truth. There are many politicians who have failed us. They shouldn't have anything to do with politics in Nigeria again.
Thank you, viewers. Thank you very much. Thank you for coming.
God bless you.
Keep watching Newspunch from the television today to economy, business, technology,